70% with a standard pitch curve. 80% throttle curve. Mid stick. Okay, this is 90%. Throttle hold off, just under mid stick. %. Normal pitch curve. 95%. Throttle hold off, mid stick. Okay. This is 95%. This is 100%. Okay, 90% throttle with 100 grams of watt meter. So how do we go about calculating the head speed of the Heli's main blades? Well, the way this method works is by using an audio file of the Heli's main blades during a hover. The sound coming from the blades has its own frequency, and it's this frequency that we'll use to calculate the head speed. In order to extract the main blade frequency, we'll need to download an application called Audacity. It's open source and it's free. If you do a Google search for Audacity, it brings up these links. Audacity, free audio editor and recorder. Click on that and that'll take you straight to the website. And in this yellow box we've got our download link. Click on that, save the file and install it to your computer. Now that we have the software installed, let's go ahead and launch it. Now before we begin, we need to make some changes to the preferences. So let's go up to Edit, Preferences, and make our way down to spectrograms. The first thing we need to change is the window size. So click on the drop down and choose the bottommost. The next thing we need to change is the display. We need to change the minimum frequency and the maximum frequency displayed. And for our example, we're only really interested in what happens around 100 Hertz. So I set mine to 50 for the minimum and 200 for the maximum. Next thing we need to do is go over here to libraries. In order for us to be able to import various types of files, we need to download some codecs. And I'm not sure why they don't come pre-installed with this software, but I guess there's a reason for it. If you go over to here where it says FFmpeg library, next to that is a download button. Click on that and that'll take you to a website to download the FFmpeg codecs. And as you can see here, we've got the Windows version and Mac version. Simply click on this download link and save it to a spot on your hard drive, and when you do, it comes in as a zip. Extract it and you get this folder, and inside this folder we've got some files. Okay, the next thing we need to do is let the software know where the files are that we just downloaded, and to do that we go over to here where it says locate and point the software to the folder that we just extracted. In this case I've already done it, so I won't do it again. And then once you're done, we can hit OK and we're ready to go. Okay, so the next step is importing some footage and taking a look at it. You can either just drag and drop a file in, or go over to here where it says File, Open, select your file and open that. And as you can see, it comes in as a stereo file. We don't need stereo, we only really need mono. So if we go over to here where it says Tracks, Stereo Track to Mono, click on that, then go over to View, Fit Vertically. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go in and choose an area of this file that we want to analyze. And the way we do that is by left clicking and dragging along the area that we want to analyze. Once you release it, go over to View and Zoom to Selection. If you want to choose a different area of the file, you can always go back and View and Fit in Window, and then go and choose a different area. So we'll select this area here. Okay, so the next step is to get a visual representation of all the individual frequencies so we can identify the main blade frequency. And in order to do that, we go over to here to this drop down and choose spectrogram. Now it's this thick pink line here that we're interested in. This is the frequency of our main blades. What we want to do now is we want to work out what the peak frequency of these blades is, so we can use that to calculate the RPM. So what we do is we select a section of this timeline and we go over to here where it says Analyze and we click on Plot Spectrum. Now this window comes up. Now we need to change a couple of the settings before we can find the peak. First up, the size. We need to click on that and choose the biggest. And as far as the axis, we want to change it from linear to logarithmic frequency. Now I want you to focus in on this area right here where it says peak. As I drag the cursor over these peaks, they snap to them. And if we go over to this one right here, which is the closest to 100, that's the frequency of our main blades. And as you can see, the peak says 99 Hertz. So what we can now do is use that number to calculate our revolutions per minute. So if we grab our calculator, we can punch in 99 Hertz, that's 99 cycles per second, times 60 seconds divided by 2 blades equals 2,970 revolutions per minute. So that's how we go about calculating the head speed of our heli using an audio file or a video file. Okay, here's an example of all those tests I did earlier calibrating the 450 Pro. As you can see here, I've got a variety of different throttle settings. This is 70, 80, 90, 95 with a 12 tooth pinion, and then when I went up to the 13 tooth pinion, this is 70, this one's 80, and this one's 90, so 90% throttle. So I'll just show you this one here, which is the highest. I'll select that, I'll go to Analyze, and I'll plot spectrum day. So now if I move my cursor over the top and it snaps to this, you can see 99 Hertz, so almost 3000 RPM for 90% throttle with a 13 tooth pinion. So basically I cut up small sections from each one of the test videos, lined them up next to each other and imported them in. If you have a look here, if we go back to the waveform, you can see it. So there you have it. So that's how I went about calculating the head speed there on my 450 and got those figures that I've shown in the video.